Hello, all. Welcome to the Geeks with Opinions podcast, episode
8.
This is a very special episode because we're doing only movie reviews.
Yeah,
3 of them, to be exact.
3 of them.
We're going to get you guys a little caught up on what's been happening, at the theater.
At the theater.
And what you guys should definitely go see.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. We could hate them. But
maybe.
Either way, I'm your co-host, Matt Corchado, and he is.
I'm Sherman.
And let's just dive right into it. The first movie we're going to review, we're going to go by order of which they came out. So we're going to start with Doctor Strange. Yeah, and we're just going to give you guys our pros and our cons and, everything we liked and disliked about the movie.
Yes.
So I'll just start off with probably a pro that you had too. Like, once again, Marvel they kill it. And they just throw you into this world that they've created, and you just have so much fun when you're there.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You just, whenever you're there in the theater watching a Marvel movie, you just get lost in their story, in the story they're telling. And it's just fun. I had a lot of fun with this movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty good word to describe it. It's just an overall fun movie.
Yeah, it's really entertaining, really fun, trippy, crazy.
Yeah. The one thing I will say that sort of separates this movie from the other Marvel movies is just it actually is very visually different than the other films in a really good way.
Yeah,
you said trippy. Like the visuals in this movie are really interesting, and I really liked it.
The special effects are to a different level.
Oh yeah,
like Marvel's never gone to this level of special effects before.
Like the one moment in Ant-Man when he goes into the sub dimension thing, like that's just like a small tease for what's in Doctor Strange in terms of the visuals and stuff.
Yeah, and that almost they almost had the identical scene in Doctor Strange, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
It was really similar to that scene in Ant-Man. It was really cool. Piggybacking on just everything about this movie being pretty cool, the cast was freaking amazing. Like when we first heard about the cast coming out, and like Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and then Amy Adams as his love interest, and Chewie.
Amy Adams.
I'm sorry.
Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, Rachel McAdams. Sorry. And then Chiwetel Ejiofor coming in. It was just and Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We just from the very beginning we thought, wow, this is just star-studded. It's going to be an amazing movie.
Well, it's not just like stars. It's just like the acting talent of all of these people is like extremely high.
Yeah, the chops on every single person in this movie is just crazy excellent.
And it shows for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say one of the things I really liked is just the character of Stephen Strange. I thought they did a really good job of giving him a lot of depth and character development and stuff. He was really interesting character. And
the thing, because like I'm not a huge Doctor Strange comic book fan. I've never read or picked up a Doctor Strange comic book. Mm-hmm. So they did a really good job of explaining who this character is and what he is about.
I mean, I would say that if you have never seen a superhero movie before, you might be a little bit lost in terms of like them trying to explain stuff. But as long as you sort of get what this universe is going for, you just accept what they tell you,
right?
Kind of thing. They do a good job of sort of explaining what magic is and stuff.
Yeah, and the story was extremely interesting. I really enjoyed the story as a whole, and like one of the biggest things that I heard going into this movie that people didn't like was the actual comedic side, because Marvel has a fun, lighter tone to their movies. This one wasn't as light a tone as other Marvel movies, but I enjoyed like all of the comedic relief.
Yeah,
all of it.
I did too. There was more of it than I thought that there was gonna be.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really took away from the experience. It wasn't just like joke, and it wasn't like the characters were telling jokes. It was a lot like a lot of situational humor. And stuff like that. And
the jokes never took me out of the movie, ever. Like,
no.
I always felt like they flowed and they went along with the story, and it was really, really cool.
I mean, you said you liked the story. I would say it's it kind of is an unoriginal story, but they told it in an interesting way.
Yeah, they definitely put their own spin on that story.
Right.
It was really cool. So are we allowed to go into spoiler territory?
Yeah, well, I was going to say that we should, for each movie, talk about it for a little bit, non-spoilers, and then go into spoilers.
Okay, well, can we go into spoilers now?
Yeah, we can go into spoilers.
Okay, well, one of my favorite things about this movie was that they didn't kill off their villains.
Yes. Oh, I didn't really think about that. Yeah.
Because, like, usually Marvel, that's like one of the biggest complaints with any Marvel movie anybody ever has. The villain's dead all the time. Yeah. But these past two movies, Captain America Civil War and Doctor Strange, they have not killed their villains.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting because I actually really liked Mads Mikkelsen's villain quite a bit.
Well, I would say that, like, he's probably not going to show up in the same way.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Mads Mikkelsen will show up in the next movie. Like,
True.
His character technically didn't die, but he turned into it looks like he turned into something called a mindless one.
Okay.
Which is like Dormammu's minions.
Oh, okay.
Sort of thing. So
that's kind of unfortunate, but
Dormammu, the actual character Dormammu, did not die. Which, did you know that Benedict Cumberbatch actually played Dormammu?
No.
Yeah.
Wow, well, that's really cool.
They kind of wanted it. I think they wanted it to be like, so Dormammu sort of like took the shape or the essence of Doctor Strange when he came there. So it's like mirrored him a bit.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of
But
cool.
I mean, I want to talk more about Dormammu later because I have him under my cons for a certain reason. But okay. Anyways, we'll get past that. Also, I'm extremely excited to see like Doctor Strange in future Marvel films.
Yeah, I was gonna say
because
that too.
Like he's a very compelling character, and it's gonna be fun to see him with all the characters we know and already love.
Which, I mean, we're already talking spoilers. So the mid credits scene.
Yeah, I was gonna go to that too.
Was really cool. Him, Thor showing up, and he's going to be in Thor Ragnarok. I guess.
Yeah, it's basically a confirmation that he will be in it, even though we already knew because of the set pictures and stuff.
Right. But that was really exciting for me.
Yeah, it was. I liked both post-credit scenes, actually. Okay. Some people were kind of like complaining about the second one, not cool enough or whatever, but I kind of liked it because it set up another Doctor Strange movie or another villain in this universe, basically.
Right. Yeah. Well, speaking of, I liked. This is kind of a pro and a con. Okay. So, like we were just talking about the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I like Mordo's arc throughout the film.
Yeah,
like
it didn't feel rushed.
No, and his motivations made sense throughout the whole thing. But I will say, it turns into a con a bit in that post-credit scene. I thought it sort of made a big of a leap. You know, it doesn't really fit with his arc at the end of the film, and then he sort of jumps to a different place in the post-credit scene because he seems to go from at the end of the film, it seems like he's going to be a very logical villain. Like he has an understandable opposition to Doctor Strange. But in the post-credits scene, it seems like he's just gone full crazy person.
Yeah, he's just a full villain.
Yeah, and like he wants to, get rid of He says the world has too many sorcerers in it. He knows he's a sorcerer too, right?
Right. Yeah, I can see why that'd be a con. Okay, well, since we're talking about cons, might as well just dive into them all.
Okay.
So, overall, I think we both really enjoyed this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it did have some problems. It's not a perfect film, but
no.
One of my biggest problems with it was it was too short.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, they couldn't dive into really cool characters or characters I was more interested in, like Rachel McAdams' character and Tilda Swinton's character.
The ancient one, yeah.
Yeah, the ancient one. I didn't think they dove into those enough, but, I mean, the movie was really short.
Yeah, you would have thought that they could have made it longer.
Right. Like, when it was over, I was kind of like, that's it? It's over?
Yeah.
I want it to be longer. I mean, that's kind of a good thing that I wanted it to be longer.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, so, I don't know. That's just a nitpick, I guess.
Yeah,
I just wanted it to be a little bit longer.
I would also say, like, it's not really this movie's fault, but it's kind of unfortunate that it comes out in the same year as Civil War.
Right.
It's a really tough act to follow, that movie. So it's hard to really separate those two.
Yeah.
And, like, view this. You have to view this on its own, but you also like you look back to a few months ago and you saw like one of the best superhero movies you've ever seen.
In my opinion, probably the second best.
Yeah.
If not the first, I don't know. But yeah, I'd agree with that because I mean, no one should go into this movie expecting it to be as good as Captain America: Civil War.
Right.
It's an origin story, and it was a good origin story in my opinion. I liked it a lot. Probably another. We were talking about Dormammu earlier.
Yeah.
I wasn't really that into him. I thought he was kind of lame and so easily beat by Doctor Strange. I mean, it was easy for Doctor Strange to beat him.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that because we don't really know how long Doctor Strange was there.
I guess that's true.
Like, he could have been there for, like, years doing that.
I know, but the movie portrayed it as it being so simple for him.
I did like that scene, though.
Oh, I love the scene, but I don't know if I loved how quickly it ended. Like, and there was no real battle, I guess.
Well,
it was a mind game. It was interesting.
I would counter that with, I think Dormammu this isn't going to be the last time we'll see him.
I agree.
And I think, there will be a time when we actually get to see Doctor Strange physically fight Dormammu.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to see, but I guess it's kind of good that they didn't just throw it in this movie.
Yeah.
Just give us everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Blow a load. DC. Anyways, probably another one of my cons is, I mean, this was kind of a con that everyone was talking about, and it kind of made sense to me when I actually saw the movie. He's really OP.
Oh, really? I thought the opposite. I thought
really.
I thought that that he was going to be super OP, and then it ended up actually being the movie him not being as powerful as I thought he was going to be, which I kind of liked.
Well, I don't know. With that time turner, what is that called? The time.
Well, the time.
I know it's
stone?
the time gem.
Oh, you mean the eye of Agamotto?
Yes, that's what. Okay, whenever he has that, dude, how is anybody gonna beat him?
Well, that's the thing. Like Infinity War, like obviously Thanos is gonna have to get all the gems at some point. So he's going to get that gem from Doctor Strange.
Okay, well, I mean, just in this movie, he was super OP in my opinion.
Yeah.
I guess I can see where you're coming from, though. Do you have any other cons that you wanna?
No, I think
covered them all.
Yeah, I think so.
So I mean, I can say we both enjoyed this movie quite a bit. This was a really good origin story. It wasn't my favorite Marvel movie ever, but it was up there. It was pretty good. I liked it a lot. I really had a good time in the theater, and that's all I ask for.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it an 8 out of 10.
I would also give it an 8 out of 10.
Cool. Okay, so moving on to probably one of my favorite movies of this year.
For sure.
Like, so far. I mean, we're getting into Oscar season pretty soon, so there's going to be a ton of great movies coming out. But this movie blew me away. I was freaking shocked by how great it was. But we're talking about Arrival.
Yeah.
This movie is something everyone should see. Like, every single human.
I'd agree.
And it's not only just because it's just a good movie, it's an important movie, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because it plays on so much of what's happening right now with politics and just how separated everybody in the world is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And how powerful the human race could be if we were just all like singing Kumbaya and actually getting along and getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool that they played on that with aliens. It was just really cool and interesting. So yeah, I mean that's probably my first pro of this movie.
Yeah, you would be forgiven if you watched a trailer and thought that this was gonna be just like another alien invasion movie and stuff, but it's definitely not.
Like after seeing the movie, I can see why the trailers were kind of misleading.
Yeah.
This almost like in the trailers they almost sold a normal alien movie, like you said.
Right. It's hard to talk about this movie without giving away stuff.
Right. Well, let's just say I enjoyed the performances of Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner.
Right. The acting all around was top
it was
notch.
really, really good. Jeremy Renner brought like the perfect amount of comedic relief to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't a ton, but it was like just the perfect amount.
Yeah,
his character was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And the cinematography was...
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about.
Go for it.
Yeah, it was just the way shots were set up, like the beginning of the movie up until the point where you first see the alien spaceship and the aliens themselves. I thought it was like brilliantly shot.
It was gorgeous.
Because like this isn't really a spoiler. Like for the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie, you don't actually see the ship, or you kind of get little glimpses
like
of
on the
ship.
TV.
Yeah, and they're in a helicopter going to the ship.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I hope they don't just like start at the bottom of the ship and pan up.
Right.
And I hope they just instead like you just get a shot, bam, there it is. Like they've been sort of leading it up to this point, and they're just gonna throw it in your face now.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, it was like, really cool, and it had like the cloud over.
Oh yeah.
The clouds were like coming over in like a wave form. It was really. I'm sure there's a scientific term for what that is called, but I don't know it. But yeah, and also the score went so perfectly with every single shot.
I believe it's Johan Johansson.
Yeah, and like I've been listening to that score a ton since I've watched the movie. Yeah. It's really interesting, it's different, and it's really fun.
He also did the score for, well, I'm going to butcher his name, but the dude that directed this movie is Denis Villeneuve.
I think he did good. Okay. I think that's how you do it.
And Johan Johansson also scored Villeneuve's last movie, Sicario.
Right.
And that movie had a really good score also.
Which I have not seen. I need to watch that. I still need to watch that.
You need to watch that.
Another really cool thing for this movie was it didn't fall into those like Independence Day cliche alien movie things.
Yeah, no.
This was totally off left field, dude. It was.
Mm-hmm.
It made you think like Inception, but had aliens that didn't just blow up random things for fun.
Right.
It was really, really interesting and cool. So let's just go into spoilers now. From here on out, the spoilers. Spoiler alert. Okay, so. What do you have to say?
Well, I would just say that, you get the revelation in this movie that there's a time travel element to it, or a sort of time travel thing. Like, so time is just an abstract thing to the aliens. It's not, that it's not a linear thing like it is to us. And I thought it worked really well.
I did too, because especially since they didn't like spoon feed the audience, like they didn't hit you over the head and make sure you were understanding what they were telling.
Mm-hmm.
They did it in such a genius way with the shot sequences they used and the dialogue. It was just perfect.
Technically they said technically it kind of was a twist, but the way they set it up, it didn't feel like a twist.
No, you felt like you were finding out with the main character, Rachel. I'm Amy Adams. I'm going back and forth now. But you felt like you were her and you were finding out like she did, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like crazy brain shocking because she kind of knew within her. Because she did know.
Yeah. Well, something that I thought was really interesting. That upon reflection. You think since time is abstract to these aliens, like from the beginning of the movie, they knew exactly what the humans were saying.
Yeah.
Like since time is abstract, they can go into the future and already learn the human language. They already know from the beginning. Right. So it wasn't about the humans teaching the aliens English or their language.
Yeah.
It was about the aliens needed them to teach the English to them so that they would understand their language.
Right.
Like for instance, there's the scene where they have Jeremy Renner's character Ian. He's walking, and on a board behind him they say Ian walks. And then one of the aliens shoots out one of his little circle things so that the humans know, okay, that means Ian walks.
Right.
So it was in order to teach the humans their language, they needed the humans to teach them their language.
This movie was excellent. Like the entire story was just I don't even know what to say besides it was amazing and well thought out. I haven't seen a movie that made me think this much since probably Inception.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, it was just amazing, and like they didn't surround the entire film around the reveal of what the aliens look like. They show you the aliens right in the first act.
Yeah.
And I really liked that because most alien movies are just like, here, ooh, a big reveal of what the aliens look like. This is the coolest part of our movie.
Mm-hmm.
No, the coolest part of this movie was the story.
I would also say there's another interesting part to it. Like, there's a scene where the humans are starting to get antsy.
Yeah.
And like
turning on each other, basically.
Right, but some of the American soldiers they've decided they've had enough of it. They go rogue and they put a bomb in the spaceship.
Yeah.
Well, the aliens obviously knew that was there.
Right.
They knew it was there, and when Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner go up to the ship, the alien that is going to die shows up late.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's gonna have to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
To sort of teach them.
And he saves both of them.
Yeah.
By pushing them out of the lair that's being exploded.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It was just an excellent movie. Yeah. I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No, you go ahead.
Do you have any like major cons with this movie?
Well, the only one I would say is like it was towards the beginning, the scene where they first get in the ship.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner goes all.
Yeah, like
that was so funny
when they like the gravity changes and they jump on to the ship. It sort of looks kind of weird.
The CG in this movie was excellent. Besides like that one part you were talking about where Jeremy Renner, like they literally, whenever they go up in the ship, they're wearing these like hazmat, well, in the first part of the movie, they're wearing these hazmat suits, and basically it's just a projected light onto the face of the hazmat suit, and that was the CG. That was their face, and it looked really goofy at times, but, I mean, we're nitpicking here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, overall, this movie was probably one of my favorites of the year.
Well, I would also, I wanted to say, like, at the beginning of the movie, when they introduced Jeremy Renner's character, I was like, oh, man, I don't really want him to be, like, the love interest.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
that.
yeah.
But at the end of the movie, I was like, actually, no, that worked really well.
The way they did it, it played so well. Okay, the saddest, most happy ending.
Yeah, I know.
Was given to this movie because it was so perfect. Because in the movie, Amy Adams learns their language, which is basically learning how to tell
the future.
Yeah, tell the future. And she knew that she was going to get married to Jeremy Renner, have a kid, and the kid was going to die of an illness. I think it was cancer.
Yeah, something like that.
And she still, even knowing all of this, she still got married to Jeremy Renner, had the kid, and went through it all because she wanted that. She wanted the feeling. She wanted to be with him. And it was just perfect.
Oh,
I've never seen anything like that. I don't know if there's any movies like that, but that was one of the best endings I've ever seen.
It's the ending. It's sad, but it's still like you walk out feeling like good.
Yeah, it's
hopeful.
It's a super confusing feeling, but it's a good one.
Yeah,
because like this movie it gives you hope.
Right.
It gives you hope at what humans could do. This is the first movie where humans aren't complete douchebags.
I know, right?
Coming from like an alien movie.
Some of them are douchebags, but...
Well, yeah, but you're going to have that. But overall, the entire human race came together and solved a huge issue. And it was amazing. It was perfect. Yes. I loved this movie so much. Yeah. But, so, I mean, let's just give our final scores. You?
I think we're both on the same page here. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Same. Not because, like, there was anything really wrong with this movie.
Yeah.
But, like...
I mean, I saved 10s for a very select group of movies.
There's movies where you walk out of and you're just like, there's absolutely no flaws with that movie in my mind.
And, I mean, who knows? Like, the next time I watch it, I could be like, man, what was I thinking? This movie's absolutely perfect. So
yeah, same.
I reserve my right to change my mind later.
Yeah, but so far this is probably in my top 3 favorite movies of the year.
Oh, I think it's my second, actually.
I'd probably say that too, but I'd have to go through my list. But honestly, yeah it's probably my second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving on to our last movie of the day. We just saw this yesterday? No, 2 days ago.
Yes.
And Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yeah.
I think we have a little different opinions.
How do you explain this? Is it like a Is it a prequel to Harry Potter, or is it?
I would say it's a prequel. It's a prequel, but it stands alone.
Yeah, but it doesn't really set up the events of Harry Potter, or at least we don't think it's going to.
Not yet, anyways. I think they're going to eventually.
I kind of hope they don't, but I mean, we'll see.
Well, I don't want them to set up the events to Harry Potter. I want them to lead up to like Voldemort's reign. That's I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, let's just dive into our pros. For me, once again, this movie was a freaking crapload of fun for me because I'm a Potterhead so hard.
Yeah, so am I.
I watched the original Harry Potter movies at least 3 times a year. Like, at least 3 times a year. So, just seeing, like, the titles, because how they did the titles was exactly like how they did Harry Potter titles.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. It was just fun being back in this universe.
It was funny, like, for a while I had been saying, I really don't want them to use the Harry Potter music in the movie. And then the very first moment of the movie, they used the Harry Potter movie, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Luckily, they didn't. I think that
he did that theme.
Well, they used it that one time, and then I think I heard it like once more during the movie. I think it was
at the end.
I heard somewhere, but it wasn't. They didn't really use it a lot.
Yeah, I really loved the score in this movie.
So I was actually pretty pleased that they sort of differentiated this music from the other movies.
I really enjoyed the score of this movie, like actually quite a bit. But I mean, I haven't listened to it on its own yet without the movie. But while I was watching the movie, I thought the score was really good. But probably my favorite thing about this movie was Newt and Kowalski.
Newt was my best part of the movie. Like, just him in general.
I loved them together as a team. Like, their buddy friendship, I bought into it completely. Like, there was this one scene, spoiler alert.
We're just going
we're going into it because I have to talk about this scene. There was this one scene where one of Newt's, creatures gets loose, and it's in Central Park Zoo.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of the movie.
I was literally dying that entire scene because Kowalski has to put on this like musk. Oh, he accidentally puts on the musk, and this giant rhino thing is chasing him. It's so goofy, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, that was probably.
I was dying that whole entire time. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes, and one of my favorite things about this movie was those two's interaction. Mm-hmm. So yeah, what do you got?
Well, I would say that my favorite parts of this movie were Newt interacting with the beasts and just him showing his love for the beast. I thought the most interesting part of the movie was he is trying to teach other wizards about these beasts. Like, they're not all super dangerous, and if you just have to learn to deal with them.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was probably the best part of this movie.
It was pretty heartwarming too, because like he was so good. He's a very good person.
Yeah.
And honestly, I love the character of Newt.
Right. Like he's not a hero.
No.
Right. Like
he's just a normal guy who loves what he does.
Right. Like he's just trying to do what's best for these creatures. I liked that.
I'm excited. Like, this movie did a good job of exciting me for the future ones to see where his character arc goes. In my opinion, like I'm excited to see where his character goes. In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to some stuff.
But also, I mean, I think you're gonna disagree with me on this one. But for me, this movie stood alone from Harry Potter. Besides, like the 2 Easter eggs in there, like the Deathly Hallows thing, and then the one name drop of Dumbledore. Other than that. Yeah. I didn't find myself thinking about Harry Potter this entire movie.
Well, it was weird. Like, there was moments where I was like, okay, that's a little bit much, trying to tie it into the other movies. And then there was moments where I kind of wish they would have made it feel more like it was in the movie.
Really?
Like, yeah, like just I mean, maybe it's just a nitpick, but they didn't use hardly. I don't think they used any that I can think of beasts from the other movies or books. It was like all new creatures. Yeah. I mean, I think Newt mentions that his mom was a hippogriff breeder or something like that, but couldn't he have had a hippogriff in his case? Or
I mean, I guess, but
or what about a thestral? Or just they didn't really have any of that.
That didn't really bother me that much because, I mean, there's going to be freaking 5 of these movies, and I'm sure we'll see them eventually.
Okay.
That's why it didn't really bother me. But, yeah, I mean, speaking of the creatures, I don't know if you agree with me on this either, but I thought the CG was good. It didn't take me out of the movie. It wasn't the best CG I've ever seen, obviously, and it wasn't as good as the old Harry Potter movies, in my opinion, but...
There was definitely some CG that was a lot better than others.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, the eagle thing, it was almost like a hippogriff, almost. But it was like a golden eagle kind of thing. Yeah. I felt like that one was a little too much CG, but that was the only one that really I noticed a lot.
Well, I thought, like, the one that, like, eats the coins. Well,
I loved him.
No, I liked that creature. I did, but I thought it didn't really. It looked pretty animated. And,
okay.
And the goblins in this movie, there were a few goblins.
Yeah.
Like, they went full CG with it, whereas in the other Harry Potter movies, it would have been makeup.
Yep.
And that kind of threw me off.
That was probably a nitpick I had too, because they went full Hobbit on it. Yeah. Like in the Lord of the Rings, they didn't use CG, and then in the Hobbit they just go all CG.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a budget thing. Is makeup cheaper or more expensive?
Yeah. I mean, there was a multiple things about this movie where I thought, this movie probably would have benefited if they would have just given it more time.
Yeah. I agree with that.
More time in everything, in the writing process, in shooting it, and editing it, and all that. If they would have pushed it back, maybe even a full year to next winter, like, I feel like it might have benefited a lot.
I agree with that, but I don't know. This movie gets me excited for the future ones. And I mean, another interesting thing about this movie that I found really interesting was the pacing. It started off like super slow for me.
You liked the pacing?
No. Listen to me. Okay. It started off super slow for me, like for the first 2 acts. And then the third act was just like quick as poop. It was real quick. Yeah. I don't know why. It's just how I felt.
So you're
I don't know how I feel about it. That's the I'm conflicted inside how I liked about it.
These two things kind of go hand in hand. The pacing and the tonal shifts for me were what really kind of bothered me about this movie. Like, it would be, really slow at times, then really fast in other times, and then it would be really, like, upbeat,
lighthearted,
and then, like, the next scene is like super dark,
and like when they went to those dark scenes, everything changed. Like, the lighting changed. Everything was so different and jarring.
Like in Harry Potter, I thought they did a good job. There was plenty of, upbeat and but the difference was in Harry Potter, whenever you had an upbeat scene, they never really let you forget that there is some dark stuff happening. But right now, these characters are trying, or they're forgetting about it right now.
Right.
They're trying to be teenagers and live their lives, but that stuff's going on in the background. Whereas in this movie, the darkness aspect of the movie, and Newt and everything, his little adventures getting his creatures didn't really mesh.
No, it was very blocky. Like, you could take all the dark scenes out of this movie and make your own movie with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
that's
it's really weird, because like, you could take this entire lighthearted movie, take those out, and it'd probably be a better movie.
I would,
honestly. But I mean, we're already talking about cons, so let's just keep going.
Yeah.
The villains, speaking of darkness, the villains were lame. I'll just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Lame and boring.
Well, it's interesting.
And didn't make much sense.
Like, I liked Colin Farrell's character up until about the third act.
Yes. Agreed.
Like, he was going in a pretty interesting direction until he just kind of went full evil. And then I was like...
it didn't make any... Like, his motivations didn't make sense. And then they thought the reveal, spoiler alert, him being Grindelwald would, like, solve all of that. But it didn't.
It didn't. It makes less sense.
Yes. It literally makes less sense. Also, just throwing this out there, Johnny Depp, gosh, why?
Yeah.
Why did they literally put on black mask makeup and threw him in this movie, and I'm so scared.
I was kind of holding out hope, because I thought, okay, if he's playing Grindelwald, then this dark wizard, then I'm like, okay, maybe I might be able to see it. Then we get just a few seconds of him in this movie, and I'm like, oh no.
No, his reveal was bad.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It wasn't a good reveal at all.
And I was confused. Was he just well, number one, how the heck did Newt know he wasn't Graves or whatever? He just reveals him.
Yeah,
that didn't make any sense.
He just had a hunch.
And also, he was not using polyjuice potion or anything. So
how did he do it?
Right.
Well, I mean, they didn't really dive into him enough to where we did see him do it. So I guess they're just assuming that we all know Harry Potter and know that he was on polyjuice potion. I guess
maybe,
or they just made a mess up.
Well, that was another kind of this thing with that is they added different aspects of magic to this movie that weren't in any of the other movies. That you're like, that seems like a big thing,
right? And it would have showed up.
One witch can apparently read minds. That's a thing in the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, I don't know. You could make arguments to where that's something only American wizards can do, but I don't know why.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
And why? I mean, you got Professor Trelawney in the Harry Potter movies could sort of, she could sort of see the future sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it went. There was no hint in the books or in the movies of any sort of mind control.
Right.
And the other thing was the sort of you suppress your magic and all of a sudden there's this dark force within you.
See, no, that was one of the biggest things that confused me.
Yeah, me
because
too.
They didn't explain it good at all.
No, they didn't explain it.
And number two, doesn't Harry suppress his dark feelings and dark magic inside of him?
Oh yeah. Well, I think they were saying just not suppressing dark feelings, but just they were trying to hide, so they would suppress all forms of magic.
Oh, okay.
But it's still
yeah, they did a bad job at explaining what exactly that entity was.
Right.
It left me super confused after I was done with the movie, and I was like, I loved everything except what was that thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it looked kind of nifty, I guess. It was kind of CG actually, but
yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of weird, and it didn't make much sense. But I mean, yeah. So that would. Do you got anything else to say about it?
Yeah. I would just say it just felt we were saying before blocky. It felt like two different movies.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it really did.
One. And it also felt like they were too concerned with setting up a sequel with instead of just making this a really good movie. And I sort of realized after this movie, I would have rather them go expanding the Harry Potter universe with doing it kind of like how Star Wars is going right now, with Star Wars is doing Rogue One, one singular movie outside of
right, and it's not gonna be there's not gonna be a Rogue 2 or whatever.
Well, I mean, there might be, but
I don't know.
I mean, we don't know for sure, but it just seems right now one singular spin-off movie. Then we're gonna get a Han Solo movie,
right.
Another one-off kind of thing. I would have rather Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them just be a one-off movie, and then maybe later you can do a movie about Grindelwald and Dumbledore that they're two separate movies.
That would have been interesting. I didn't really ever think about it that.
Yeah, and I just feel like some of these stories aren't long enough for 5 movies.
Yeah.
You could have had Fantastic Beasts just be one thing on its own, then do Dumbledore and Grindelwald one thing on its own. Then you could do Harry's dad and the other what is their group called?
Harry's dad
and Sirius and Remus. And
yeah. Oh, the Order of the Phoenix.
No.
No. Gosh.
With the map.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We're failing really hard.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, whatever. I think everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. His group of friends and stuff. You could do a movie about that. You could do me. I mean,
this universe is endless. You could do a movie about a ton of stuff.
5 movies about fantastic beasts and whatever, I feel like is a bit much.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that because now that you're telling me about like how Star Wars is doing it, I think that would have worked better, and they could have set up, Newt a lot better. They could have set up all these other characters a ton better.
And
dove into them better.
I don't think Newt Scamander needs a 5-movie series.
No.
Like, I understand that they want to tell the story of Grindelwald and Dumbledore and all that. I get that.
Yeah.
But you could have done that separately.
That's true.
Like, I don't know. That's just kind of how I felt.
I agree with all of that.
I'm nervous about the next movies. Like, obviously, I'm gonna go see them.
Right.
But I'm just worried that this might go in the direction of The Hobbit and the prequel Star Wars movies instead of the original trilogy and Lord of the Rings.
See, like, after I left the movie theater, I was more excited than nervous for the next 4, 5 movies, whatever they're gonna do. But after talking about it, honestly, I just changed my rating.
Did you really?
Yeah, after we've been talking about it, and the more I think about the movie, I had to lower my rating, and I'm getting a little bit more nervous because the more I dove into it, the more negatives I had, and that's not good. But I mean, I really did enjoy this movie. I liked it a lot.
I didn't dislike it.
I had a lot of fun watching it, and that's one of the biggest things I took away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the characters the most part. Like, I liked all the main characters we had.
Right.
Besides, I mean, the love interest sister. She was kind of lame.
Yeah.
The mind reader, sorry.
I feel like Newt and Tina, I think, was
Tina.
The other witch's name, were like by far and away my favorite characters.
Okay.
And the other one, like, I think Jacob, or was it
Kowalski?
Kowalski.
Yeah. I mean,
he was funny.
Him alone, I didn't like him as much. Like, honestly, at the beginning, when he was alone doing his own thing, like going into the bank, trying to get the loan, whatever, I didn't think he was that funny. I was kind of nervous. Like, at the beginning of the movie, I was super nervous. I'm like, this is not going to be good. I'm scared. And then all of a sudden, that scene hits when they're together.
Yeah.
And from there on out, I loved them. I loved them together.
Sure.
Because, like, after that point, we didn't get much Kowalski alone except the very end. So, I mean, yeah. I'd have to agree with you that Tina and Newt on their own are probably the best characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anything else to say? Any last thoughts?
No.
No? I think we both can agree it was fun to be back in the Harry Potter world.
Sure.
With some issues.
Yeah. Like, I'm interested to see, like, who they cast as Dumbledore and what's going to go on with that. Like, are Grindelwald and Dumbledore actually going to have, like, a romantic relationship? I don't know.
That would be nutty.
I mean, that's been hinted at before, so we'll see if they go there.
That'd be interesting. I mean, this movie wasn't Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, like, plot hole city, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child had a ton of plot holes.
I'll say this. It's the best J.K. Rowling Wizarding World thing to come out this year.
Yes, it is. Not saying much, but it is. I mean, we sound like we're trashing on the movie, but no, I really enjoyed this movie. And I'm excited for the next one.
4.
No, next one.
Okay.
I'm going to say next one because I don't know if I'm excited for 4 of them. But, yeah, so what are you going to give it?
Oh, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
And that's why I just changed my score to 7 out of 10.
That's funny.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can't sit here and break down a movie and have more negatives than positives. Well, not more negatives than positives, but enough negatives and positives and keep it at an 8, which I had it at. So, yeah, that was our special edition of Geeks with Opinions, episode 8. Movie reviews. It was a lot of fun. I kind of enjoyed this a lot better than just normal podcast, honestly.
We should just, like, do each podcast, like, 3 weeks in between.
Honestly, that's probably the most accurate thing we could do. Seriously, though, because we do a layover of 3 weeks, and then we do a podcast, and we're like, okay, we're going to do it this week, another one this week, and then 3 weeks later. It just happens. It's whatever. It's college. We can't help it.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, I've been Matt Corchado.
I've been Caleb Sherman. I'm still Caleb Sherman.
Yeah, I'm changing, so never know.
You're evolving.
I'm evolving.
You're
okay,
actually
so
Johnny Depp.
Don't ever compare me to him, dude. No, stop. Johnny Depp is like, he's quickly becoming one of my least favorite actors in Hollywood because of just the roles he takes.
Mm-hmm.
And how he portrays all of them the same.
I mean, sometimes he's good. But.
Yeah. Anyways, tell them about our social media.
We have them.
Okay, tell them more specifically.
Oh, okay. we have a Twitter that we'll probably use to promote this.
Maybe.
It's at Geek Opinions Pod, I believe.
Haven't been on there in a while.
I know, right? I keep sometimes I accidentally I get alerts on my phone so and so tweeted this, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll click on it and be like, oh, that's interesting. I'll retweet that, and not realizing that it's the Geek Opinions.
Yeah, dude, you've retweeted a bunch of political stuff.
I know. I didn't mean to. I was like,
oops.
I'll retweet that. Then I go look, and I'm like, oh crap! I didn't mean to do that.
It's whatever. It's funny.
And
you can like us on Facebook.
Yeah, like us on Facebook. Just Geeks with opinions. And stuff.
You can like and share this video.
Yeah.
And I just want to say hi, Mom.
Hi.
I don't even know if she makes it this far in the podcast. Honestly, I doubt it.
You know what I just realized?
What?
I haven't started making any pictures for this video yet.
You know what's really great?
What?
That you haven't started making any pictures for this yet.
I know, right?
And this is going to be a long process to edit.
Is it really? Wow.
No, not really.
I feel like I could just make one picture.
Yeah, make one picture with all 3 movies and the Rotten Tomatoes score.
And the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Actually,
Why?
no. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Whatever.
They shouldn't care about their opinions, just ours, all right?
You know what? I do want to throw a shout out, though.
Okay.
To fantasy football.
Yeah.
And how it screws everyone.
Screws everyone. It does. You wouldn't think that we play fantasy football. Well, we do.
I'm in 6 leagues right now.
We're a weird breed of super nerds in terms of movies and superheroes and stuff, but we're also super nerds in terms of sports. It's really weird.
Yes, it is. We love fantasy football and all sports basically besides NASCAR. NASCAR's not a sport. Don't argue otherwise.
Making a left turn.
Yeah. And then another one.
And then another left turn.
But honestly, though, you could seriously train me to be in a NASCAR. In a month, I'd be a NASCAR driver.
I don't think so.
I do.
If you honestly believe that, then why don't you just do it? You'd be making a lot of money.
Okay, you know what? We're done. We're done here. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other. Love each other.
Please don't commit hate crimes.
Just go watch a Star Wars movie and love yourself.
There you go.
Okay, don't love yourself. I mean, touch yourself to a Star Wars movie. But
you can, have...
You know what? You do you.
I mean, I wouldn't... that's not what I would do.
No.
But,
This is getting weird. We're getting weird.
If that's what you want to do,
If that's what floats your little boat. I mean, it might be a big boat. I don't know. We're getting weird. Okay, everybody. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.